I have always been a dog lover, but as a kid, I wasn't allowed to have my own dog. So when I turned 18, I went to Petland and I bought a puppy. So I know firsthand how easy it can be to go to the pet store and see one of those cute puppies and just go ahead and buy them. Or to get on the internet and search for a puppy that just costs a couple of $100s. But I believe that we need to stop buying puppies from these places. Puppies that come from pet stores are actually from puppy mills. And puppies that are a couple $100s on the internet come from backyard breeders. And at both of these places, the dogs are not treated right. And when we buy puppies from them, we're supporting their unethical breeding practices. I'd like to start by telling you why unethical dog breeding is a problem. A lot of people are uninformed on this topic. Me, for example, I was uninformed when I bought my dog from Petland. I went to the pet store and I was just looking around at the puppies and I found one that I really loved and she was super cute and she was a bunch of fun. So I decided that I was going to buy her because I was 18 and nobody could tell me that I couldn't. But later on, I found out that she came from a puppy mill because I was trying to find what breeder she came from. And I couldn't get a clear answer, only that Petland gets their puppies from puppy mills. The problem with puppy mills is that they don't treat their dogs right. They don't socialize them, they keep them locked up in a cage, and they just have puppies over and over again for their entire life until they're unable to. And according to Franklin McMillan, Deborah Duffy, James Serple, from the University of Pennsylvania School of Veterinary Medicine, dogs maintained in these environments develop extreme and persistent fears and phobias, possible learning deficits as evidenced by lower trainability, and often show difficulty in coping successfully with normal existence. So when they have experimented and taken these dogs from one of the puppy mills and brought them back into normal life, they can't cope. They can't go back to normal life because how they were living was so different, but so different in a bad way because they're locked in that cage all the time. They're not socialized with dogs, people, not with anything. They just have their puppies and then their puppies get taken from them. And backyard breeders are bad because they're not as educated as they're supposed to be, and they don't treat their dogs how they should be treated. They're not health testing their dogs, so their dogs could have some kind of hereditary disease that they could be passing down to their puppies and not know. And their dogs are often not socialized how they should be, and a lot of them aren't even treated like a family pet. They are outside, living by themselves essentially, and the people just bring them food and water, and they just have them have their puppies. And a lot of times, these dogs that are from backyard breeders are inbred, which can cause different behavioral and physical issues with the dog for its whole entire life. Next, I'm going to be sharing with you what are some solutions to this problem. We need to not support unethical breeders. You should be researching where your puppy is coming from. You need to make sure that they're coming from somewhere where they're treated like family and they're loved and they're taken care of like you should take care of a dog. How you can make sure that your dog is coming from an ethical breeder is ask to visit. You should ask to visit where they're at and see where they're staying. Right now, there's the coronavirus, but you can always do it over video calls or through photos or pictures. You're also going to want to look at vet records. Make sure that they're all up to date and their parents are up to date and they're taken care of when they're supposed to be. And they'll usually have you sign a contract. According to the Humane Society's website, a responsible breeder will want you to sign a contract and will ask you to return the puppy to them if you are unable to keep the dog. So there'll be when they should be spayed or neutered in the contract, usually, and like their health guarantee. Some people will guarantee their dog's health for its whole entire life. And usually they'll have where it says to bring the dog back if you're ever unable to care for it. Because These people that are ethically breeding their dogs want the best life for their puppies. They're not in it for the money. They just want to ensure that their puppies and the animals that they are bringing into the world are going to live the best life possible. And the last thing that we can do is spread awareness on what unethical dog breeding is and why it's bad and why we shouldn't be getting dogs from the pet store or why we shouldn't be buying those dogs off of Craigslist for $100. We need to let people know that it's because they're not treated right and they're bred unethically. And lastly, I want to tell you how this can benefit you. Your puppy will come from a healthy and happy place, and because they come from that, they're going to continue to be healthy and happy. An ethical breeder will provide you with support for the puppy's entire life. Anytime you need any kind of guidance, they're going to be there willing to help you, wanting to help you, because they want the best for that puppy. Like I said before, they're not just in it for the money. They want the animals that they're bringing into this world to live their best life possible. And I know that some people think it will be worth it to just spend $100 on a dog, but a lot of those dogs have serious problems. And if you want a healthy, happy dog, you really need to wait a minute, maybe, if you can't afford it at the moment. And once you can afford it, then you should go ahead and get that dog from the ethical breeder, even though it costs more money. If people are educated on this topic, hopefully they won't get their animals from these backyard breeders or the puppy mills. Hopefully they'll go to an ethical breeder and do the research that is needed to find an ethical breeder. I know it can be a challenge sometimes, but that's what you have to do if you want to have a healthy and happy dog. Now that I've gone over how it benefits you, let's go over everything one more time. First, I talked about why unethical dog breeding is a problem, and then I talked about some solutions for unethical dog breeding, and lastly, what the benefits are to you to have a dog that's bred ethically. I know that buying a dog from an unethical breeder can be easy, but we need to do everything we can to not buy them and also spread awareness on why other people shouldn't be buying them. We got to do research on where our dogs are coming from so that they can live the best life possible. We want them to live their best life possible, and so does the ethical breeder. And with that combination, of course, the dog is going to be living its best life, and we don't want any dogs to suffer because that is inhumane. So thank you for listening.